this one's so good. Okay, I think I took out all the ones that have lyrics out of this particular album yet again, but we'll see. Okay. You know what? I need to turn off. Where is it? There we go. And I need to open up the magazine reader thingy. By the way, Victor is doing his own thing down here today, so I'm gonna try to keep it down a little bit. But you'll probably hear him now and then, but I'm gonna try to keep it down and not yell too much about Fedora Kong and whatever. Okay, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more. It's been so long since I got to do just one of these fun looking at magazines type of streams. I've been stuck in the Donkey Kong Land 2 mines for so long, for like over a month basically. And yes, partially that's because I wasn't doing this at all because of the surgery and everything, but you know, it's been a long time. Yeah, we did miss Fedora Kong. I thought I had found all of the relevant, like, Donkey Kong Land issues of Nintendo Power, but it turns out that was not the case when we missed one. We missed a very important one. And at some point I was like, hey, wait a second, where did this guy show up in, like, promotional materials and stuff? And I realized I had missed one, so we're gonna go back and look at that today. But hi, everybody. How's it going? Let me open up the, let's see, window capture. I don't have anything open that I don't want other people to see right now. I don't ever have anything open that I wouldn't want other people to see. Or just like private conversations and stuff, I guess. Alright, let's see. So whenever I do this, it just like, sometimes it just randomly chooses a window to display and slaps it up there. Alright. I need to make sure I can... Alright, dude. Gotta set this up. Let's see. Good old Nintendo Power. I've missed the 90s sensibilities of mid-90s Nintendo Power so much. I'm gonna take the music display off. We're listening to the OC Remix album, Serious Monkey Business. Alright. This should be good, I guess. Okay. So I guess we're good to get started. I didn't think there would be that much to go over today because Donkey Kong Land 2 actually came out after the N64 came out, and I figured Nintendo Power was just going to be focusing all on the N64 and stuff and like wouldn't give that much coverage to it. But you know, good for them. They gave plenty of coverage to Donkey Kong Land 2 previews and reviews and stuff, so we'll have plenty to look at today. But yeah, hi everybody. Whether you're here for a long time or a short time, whether you're here lurking or talking, it's all good. Just another chill Saturday. Last Kronology stream for a couple weeks because I'm going on a trip, so we'll try to make it a good one. But yeah, this is issue 69. We're actually going back, nice, by the way. So, in case you didn't know, Fedora Kong does show up in Nintendo Power issue 69, because of course he does. But, we're going back in time a little bit, as I just said earlier, because I realized we skipped some very important Donkey Kong Land coverage. So before we get to the DKL2 coverage, we gotta check this out. So, oh, nice, streamer. Congrats to your brother. I, went to my brother's college graduation back when he graduated college, and that was really nice. I have good memories of that. And obviously, I was at his high school graduation too, but his college one was particularly nice. Alright. So, first of all, let's just look at the cover of this issue, which is Mega Man X2. Game that has some importance among certain people I know. I've never played it though. Like, there's a crocodile on this. Who is this guy? Does any Mega Man knowers in the chat? Who is this guy? What's his name? Crocodile Man. Kremling Man. What's his name? I don't know. He's cool. I like him. I don't know anything about him. Wheel Gator. All right, there we go. I approve. And then I don't know. Our awesome 90s ad of the day is some kind of janitor, I guess. Quit with the chicken soup. Here's all you need to feel better. I don't know what this has to do with the picture of the janitor, actually. Maybe that's on the next page. He's got a cool tattoo. Like a dragon. Alright. You'd rather lose your lunch in assembly than find yourself in Donkey Kong Country without this player's guide. Sure, the flu can make you feel bad and look stupid. Yeah, I was there a few months ago. But even the school nurse knows that nothing can make your head spin worse than full-bore 3D jungle fever, aka Donkey Kong Country. The good news is there's a cure. You don't even need a shot in the old rump to get it. Okay. What if I want... Just kidding, I don't. Just subscribe to Nintendo Power Magazine for... Okay, the $18 is back, and this time it does not look like $1 billion. It is definitely just $18, because the scan is better. Roller Gator. Yeah, I do. I do like that one better. It's all you need to feel 101%. Oh, that's nice. In fact, you'll be up in the trees and bagging those bananas in no time. And don't forget, you're also scoring 12 tip-packed issues of Nintendo Power. Free Superpower stamps worth cash off on any hat, t-shirt, or game accessory in the Superpower Supplies catalog. Plus all Nintendo Power kinds of... Okay, that Nintendo Power is not part of the text, it's just there. Plus all kinds of extras like trading cards and even discount certificates for top-selling game packs. So there you have it, the guide, the mag, and all the goods for the disgustingly low price of $18. There, now aren't you feeling better already? Oh man, Canadian residents pay $25? That is disgusting. Poor Canadians. Yeah, they have the trading cards at the back of each issue, and when we looked at the Donkey Kong Country 2 feature issue, that was when they had the cards that were like, because normally they're themed to all sorts of different games, but because they knew DKC2 was so special and the best game ever made, they themed all the cards at the end around DKC2 specifically, so that's where we got the very interesting information about certain Kongs and Kremlings, and even Rambi, who we learned does not like drive-thrus, and we learned that Diddy's favorite movie is Curious George Rides a Bicycle, so... That was some good knowledge there. That was a fun part. My favorite part of that particular stream. I like this little computer, the little drawing of the computer on the right. We can't be looking at like every page in this issue though. We got to get to the important stuff. But oh, by the way, okay. So it was doing something weird where it wasn't displaying the, like, split pages properly, so the only way I could get it to work out was doing this, like, split feature where, if you'll notice, like, okay, so the right page here is going to become the left page on the next, and so on. So it's not like these 2 pages, then we move on to the next 2 pages, and move on to the next 2 pages. It's like, each page is, like, you know, taking the place. It's like, 1 page is advancing at a time, so... I know, they didn't have a Captain K. Rool card, so we didn't get to learn what his turn-ons were, and I'm very sad about that. Oh my god, hold on, sorry. I know we gotta move on, but I have to appreciate, whatever this is. By the way, I haven't, like, looked at these issues, like, at all, so I have no idea the extent of the coverage. I didn't preview them whatsoever, I just used the, Retro Mag site to see that it had Donkey Kong Land 2 coverage in it, so... But last summer while I was in Italy, I was visiting my friends at their grandmother's house in the countryside. It's been a yearly tradition to bake homemade bread there. This year we wanted to try something new. This is our bread boy, TM. I would appreciate it if you would print the picture of our creation along with their names and mine. Their names are Giorgio and Daniele Mangiano from Cefalu, Italy. Looks pretty good. How'd it taste? Oh man, look at that bread. I thought this was like a chicken nugget at first. I didn't know what I was looking at. Would anyone eat the bread boy? This reminds me of the mysterious pixel from Super Paper Mario, Breadward, the unseen pixel Breadward. I bet he plays the bread boy. Yo, this guy, the Donkey Kong Country video was awesome. I'm really impressed by the graphics, but everything else looks great too. I especially thought the host was cool. I hope you have more videos in the future. Oh yeah, the sneak preview of, yeah, okay, whatever. He recognized quality when he sees it. The, Donkey Kong Country exposed video. This person is sad there's not enough comics. Well, this person should get a subscription to Club Nintendo from Germany. That's where all the comics are. Alright, and here we can see on the left our Donkey Kong Land preview, the main event. Alright. Yeah, there he is. There's Wheelgator. Kirby's Dream Course, my beloved! Best golf game that exists. The only golf game I love. Kirby's Avalanche. Man, Kirby's pretty busy. The Lion King, this game is like super hard. I don't know, I've never played it. Okay, here we go, Donkey Kong Land poster. You know, if I ever see this issue of Nintendo Power at my local game store, I have to buy it, because obviously it's issue 69. But now I know it has a Donkey Kong Land poster in it, presumably if the poster's still there and someone didn't take it out, but... Coming soon to your Game Boy from Nintendo. Crusha spotted. I want this... This is all the poster. The poster doesn't even have Donkey Kong himself on it. It has Diddy, Rambi, of course the Hogwash, Flying Pigs mentioned. But it has Krusha, so you know. It's good. Good old Super Punch Out with a cursed Little Mac. I had to make art for... I say I had to as if it was like, oh, I have to do... No, I made art for the designing for Super Punch Out series. Recently. I want to say it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, because I'm losing track of time. But, no, I really enjoyed it, except that I had to draw cursed, like, French fry hair, Lil Mac. I do not recognize this guy. He is, he's like kerosene, he's not real. I don't like him. Yeah, the poster's folded, which is why it's scanned in like this. Yeah. Obviously, this is the best part, because it has... You know, it's got Krusha on it, but it's got Rambi's face and Diddy's face and Hogwash's nose, but this part cursed. Alright. Sports game section. Man, we gotta get to the good stuff. Oh yeah, here's some cheats about Donkey Kong Country, but we don't need to really focus on them, but you can get extra lives and you can change the way the two-player mode works. Here we are, alright. There he is! We made it! We made it! Alright, everybody. I want you to just, you know, not a Kremling, but important, I think, to Donkey Kong history anyway. I just want you to bask in his glory for a minute. Well, you know, if they really wanted to appeal to Kremling enthusiasts, they could have put Clump on there with his nips out, but Clump's not in Donkey Kong Land, so they couldn't do that, unfortunately. So my question is, why does Belly Button look like that? You know? There's outies and there's innies and then there's like whatever the fuck this is, man. His Belly Button looks a little... Like, he should probably get that checked out. Like, you know, like, might need to see a doctor. Okay, Rool's belly button is Maybe his belly button is also freakish and diseased looking, which is why he has to cover it up with his belly armor. Maybe that was the whole purpose of the belly armor in the first place. His head is very wide as well. Okay. So this is the mysterious Fedora Kong, and I don't believe he is given a name in this, which is interesting because I did actually preview this one, but we'll see soon that we have some enemies here that have different names than they ended up with, but they didn't even... This guy's just, like, here with no comment. That's the funniest part about this whole thing. Like, they're not just like, oh, here's a new Kong that's, I'm pretty sure he's not commented on at all. Like, he's just there, and they don't explain him, and then he leaves. Yeah, it's like the nipple, but it's just been, like, poked inwards a little bit. Like, you poke a nipple too much, and it becomes, like, inverted. Also, his hands are really freaky looking, but we're all too distracted by the belly button to even, like, pay attention to that. But what's going on with his, like, chest as well? Like, speaking of nips, like, you know, where his nips would be, it's just like his pecs have kind of been, like, caved in. Like, what happened to him? Like, did someone, like, karate chop him from the side? Okay, but anyway, Donkey Kong Land. Nintendo's... This is confusing if you were just looking at one page. It would say, Nintendo's in an all-new that's packed made there. But it says, Nintendo Simian Sensations return in an all-new Game Boy Adventure that's packed with the same kind of apely action that made their Super NES debut the biggest hit ever. Okay, first of all, I've complained about this a lot in Nintendo Powers. I appreciate the 90s graphic design, but sometimes the backgrounds they choose are, like, it's very hard to, read the text on top of it. So I don't know about this, like, sort of textured, white with gray. It makes the text a little hard to read sometimes. Donkey and Diddy strutted their stuff in this winter's mega hit for the Super NES, and now they're back in a Game Boy adventure that promises to deliver the same non-stop action in an all-new setting. Oh, by the way, I don't remember when this was published exactly, but obviously this is before... It's February... Okay, it says at the top, it's February of 95. So, this was, you know, several months before the game came out. Those magical minds at Rare, yeah, I love them. That's one way to describe it for sure. The magical minds who are responsible for crocodile nips and all those other things that we love. They've gone bananas trying to top their last effort. Like Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Land uses groundbreaking advanced computer modeling ACM to deliver truly amazing, the truly amazing, as we're getting a, you know, prime example of here. Truly amazing 3D graphics and animation, but the similarity ends there. This is not simply a translation of the Super NES title for Game Boy. Instead, this is an all-new adventure that pits the hairy pair. Okay, don't fucking call DK and Diddy the hairy pair, please. Never use that term again. Pits the hairy pair against a new cast of baddies. The adventure takes place in new surroundings that range from an old ship to the city streets. And amazingly, it's at least as big as the Super NES. I don't think that is true. I do not think that's true. I don't think there's as many levels in Donkey Kong Land as there are in Donkey Kong Country, but, you know, I don't know. I haven't counted them. With all kinds of secrets to uncover and bonus levels to find. The game is still in development, so some of what you see here might change for the final version. Yeah, you rip, you know, Alterum 1 salute. But we wanted to give Nintendo Power readers an exclusive sneak peek at what's in store for them when Donkey Kong Land comes out this spring. Also, it was supposed to come out in the spring, I guess, but it got moved to, like, June. So, man, they really had to delay it because they had to remove all evidence of Fedora Kong. They had to make sure he was out of there. Fedora Kong got cancelled, and they had to make sure that he was not seen again. And, again, we have, like, the same render, but just from a different angle, and he's even bigger. Also, the front-facing fish and the front-facing ram, who also didn't make it into the game. Okay, do you think that Fedora Kong and Rambunctious, like, they're the animal buddy and Kong duo? Like, Rambunctious is Fedora Kong's, like, pet best friend animal buddy. Like, if they were in Bonanza, they would have the statues together, you know? I think so. I like to imagine that they're, you know, they're besties. We get like a side look at his yeah, like what's his he's got those hips though. He's got an hourglass figure. Like why do his pecs or breasts or whatever we're gonna call them come out like that, but then like they're like concave, and there's like a part where they like hang down, and then I don't know what I'm looking at here. Fedora Kong is an SCP. Okay, Kong combo takes to new territory. Territory. I don't know if there were supposed to be 3 R's in there. Is that some kind of like, cause they're like animals? It's like, they're beasts, or was that just a typo? I genuinely don't know at this point. Alright, although Rare began developing Donkey Kong Land while its programmers were working on Donkey Kong Country, and though it does borrow advanced technology from the Super NES title, this game has a life of its own, complete with its own storyline and its own diverse stages. And while the Super Game Boy palette hasn't yet been finished, what we have seen looks impressive. Donkey or Diddy? Will you be Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong? Or Fedora Kong? Take your pick. Only one of the characters appears on the screen at a time, but after you find a DK barrel, you can switch between Kongs by pressing the select button. From tropics to big city streets, it's a jungle out there. Donkey and Diddy have their work cut out for them as they explore high and low for adventure. Dang, they colored the tornado properly so it doesn't look like a poop tornado. Yeah, it's like a master architect designed this guy's chest. It's like he's wearing some kind of invisible, like, weird push-up bra that doesn't fit him very well. I don't know. Hello, welcome in, Mr. Lekar. We're talking about normal Kongs. Open windows. Continue points were hidden in special barrels in Donkey Kong Country, but in Donkey Kong Land, you'll have to find and open particular windows to uncover continues. Exits have a new look in this version, too. Alright. Okay, I don't need to read about the tokens. I've had enough of those things. New trials and tricks. Although some of the techniques you'll use in this adventure come directly from Donkey Kong Country, other tricks are brand new. Some of the surprises will help you out, while others involve new obstacles. Experiment with the unusual objects you find and characters you meet to see what their purposes are. What's your purpose, Fedora Kong? Tell me. We don't know. We didn't have a chance to experiment with him. The tornadoes are deadly to touch, but if you jump on them, they'll carry you up and down or back and forth. You determine which way to go by controlling their directions. DK Vine passages. When you jump from high places and land on particular spots in this game, don't expect metal barrels to pop out. This time you'll see vines that lead to hidden stages. Colorized cart. The talk around Nintendo is that the new Donkey Kong Land cartridge will break ground in more ways than one. Not only will the game feature state-of-the-art rendered graphics, but the cartridge itself will break from the traditional gray color. It'll be a bright banana yellow, a color that is certain to make it stand out in the packs. We'll keep you updated as final plans are made. Yeah, and I think it's neat that they did keep with that for all of them. Hold on a sec. Here's my cursed Donkey Kong Land 2 cartridge that does not hold a save, but, you know, it's nice and my favorite color. It's nice and yellow. Hang on a sec. Oh, thank you so much for the sub, by the way. I gotta keep my chat up because I had my preview up and those things don't pop up on my chat preview. But yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, Sergeant. Alright. Guide the barrels. You can control the directions the barrels point. Alright. How long is this? I got a few more pages left. Alright. Unfortunately, I think that's the end of Fedora Kong. He has now been officially banished from this earth. We won't see him again. That's it. A new cast of baddies. Diddy looks very surprised about it. Donkey Kong Country introduced Super NES players to a kingdom full of Kremlings. Yes, they didn't capitalize it, though. They... Shaking my dang head. The rare, uncapitalized Kremlings. Yeah, I know, yes, I didn't see it, because I'm looking at my, preview on the, streaming software, so I can make sure I stay in frame. But thank you for the 40 streak. I see it. Oh, I see all the 2s now. I scrolled up until I saw it. Thank you. That is very mathematical. I didn't know what you were talking about earlier. Yeah, now we can actually concentrate on the text. I feel like we were looking at like a Playboy magazine or something for a while. It's like you say you're buying it for the articles, but we know what you're like really looking at. So, you know, now that that distraction is gone, we can read about stuff. So, you'll see some of them, aka Kremlings, in this game, but a whole new world of baddies is in the works too. As we've already mentioned, the game is still under construction. These are characters that Rare is considering for the final version. Some of them have been given identities and roles, but others are still nameless and have yet to be cast in finished parts. That's fascinating. It's like, you know, some of them have been given their identity, but some of them are just, you know, they could be anything. They're still just out there, you know, waiting to discover themselves or not be in the game at all. Diddy and Donkey won't be alone in Donkey Kong Land. A new adventure calls for new goodies and baddies. We'll meet all kinds of critters in this video world. This video world! Alright. So Nemo, the, you know, what you call these guys? He's the, like a, what's the proper name for like a nautilus? For this type of creature. But yes, the Kongs will be in the swim again, and they're going to meet some new aquatic challenges too. Nemo is a persistent finny follower. I don't know if these creatures have fins. He's just got like tentacles. Yeah. It's you know, it's ammonite. I can't remember if this fish was in the game. I think it was. I think, yeah, Pucka's, I don't know. Did both of these fish actually make it into the game? It's kind of hard for me to remember. You don't need this many fish, but I guess they kind of replaced like Chomps and Chomps Jr. with these, you know, one fish is bigger than the other. This is a very interestingly shaped and textured fish. Pucka is a big fish in a little sea. Pucka makes swimming a challenge. He'll undoubtedly make diving dangerous for landlubbers like Diddy and Donkey. Yeah, that's a... You'd think that Rare would have gone with that. That's like a very rare pun, but they already had an enemy named Naughty, so maybe they just didn't want to like repeat the same pun twice in that much proximity. Burrows is a really good name, and I don't think this... I know that people call this mole hard hat, so I don't know if that was like corrected or if it just didn't, like if this mole failed to retain an official name I don't remember if the mole was given a name in the instruction manual or anything, because I mean they have a name here. I always thought hard hat was just like a fandom name because they didn't have a proper one, but they have a name here, so I guess they just like retracted it. I don't know. I like the name Burrows. That's clever. That's cute. Don't rile Burrows. When he's angry, he's apt to rip off his hard hat and hurl it at you. This mad mole is likely to be a major pain. Okay, now there's the pig in the room on the other side of the page, but we'll get to that in just a second. But good old Rambunctious, who... We talked about this ram before, because this ram actually did show up in that little Donkey Kong Land pamphlet that was like only published in the UK. I think Diver, like, that has to be true. Like, this is just the first mole miner that we ever saw, but it has to be like part of the gang, you know. The original mole miner. Meanwhile, Andre's like, don't make assumptions, but just an unrelated mole miner. But this ram was... Yeah, they just, like, there was a artist working on the game who was essentially just, like, making 3D models to test and to learn and to practice and stuff, and just made this ram, and everybody thought the ram was cute, and they were gonna try to put it in the game, even though they didn't have a real gameplay function or purpose for it, but they ended up not being able to find a place for it. But I imagine a lot of these characters did start off that way, including Fedora Kong, probably. because, you know, this technology was extremely new at the time, and the artists they were bringing onto the team needed to learn, so I imagine they were just, like, making, like, random-ass Kongs and enemies and creatures and stuff, and, like, yeah, if we can find a place for this, we'll use it, but whatever sicko out there designed Fedora Kong, you know, I'm guessing they learned a lot from the experience. They learned a lot about texturing belly buttons and the hats. His hat has a nice texture on it, but unfortunately, he did not make it into the game. What if DK's belly button also looks like this, and that's why he wears a tie? You just can't see it normally because his tie is long enough to cover it up. Yeah, exactly, like... Well, it says that chances are that the ram is an adept climber, so maybe you could climb up steep slopes with a ram that you wouldn't be able to, because, you know, like, goats and stuff can always, like, climb up mountains and things, so... The funny thing is it took a long time to, like, for the computer to process renders back then, so how long did it take for the computer to, like, render out, like, the processing power it took to render out Fedora Kong's belly button? It just, like, took an hour on that alone. Okay, so Rasher, before they were named Hogwash, when pigs fly, they make life problematic for the Kongs. These potential pork roasts fly back and forth overhead, throwing objects. I think Hogwash is a better name for sure. I think I like Boros better, but I think Rasher was... I mean, I get what they're going for there, but Hogwash is better. And Pucka Jr. And then this is the last page of this feature. All about ACM. The same wireframe skeletons used to create animated 3D images in Donkey Kong Country were used for Donkey Kong Land, using powerful silicon graphics workstations and Power Animator software from Alias. The images are then shaded and manipulated to create all kinds of movements. The result is incredibly lifelike animation. Okay, when it said, all kinds of movements, I don't know, I just, like, imagined, like, Fedora Kong's belly button, like, puckering. Do you think his belly button was, like, rigged to be animated? See the great graphics in action. Look for our complete review in the April issue of Nintendo Power. Alright, we already looked at that one. By that time, Fedora Kong had been, you know, put out to pasture. He was no more. He had been, you know, done away with. Alright. Well, that's Donkey Kong Land. That's the Fedora Kong feature. And that was, you know, really near the end of the issue, because they knew they couldn't top that. I like this, like, check out these games. Alright, let's look at, what do I have here? Nintendo Power issue 85. So we're jumping way back ahead again. Now we're actually going to look at Donkey Kong Land 2 stuff. It's like, you know, like the drill budgeting tweet where it's like $4,000 on candles or whatever. Just that, except like the ridiculous expense is nipples instead of candles. It's like, please, someone help me budget this. I'm referencing a lot of drill tweets lately in the stream. Alright, now we're moving on to, we're jumping way ahead to basically the N64 era. And they were no longer calling it the Ultra 64 anymore now. They knew what it was actually going to be called. Yeah, it's time for the Wahoo man. He's in 3D. We also got some more stuff on the bottom of his shoe here. We got Blast Core, Pilot Wings, you know, another rare game. Blast Core. Pilot Wings, Shadows of the Empire, GoldenEye, another rare game. Cruising USA, and more. I see. So, Mario is being held for ransom. Or Ranson if you're, you know, if we're talking about Donkey Kong Land 2. Hey, look, it's, the DKC2 Player's Guide. It's the Krem Cow Guide. Very important. It's this, also this Mario render. Dude, Bowser looks kind of scary. Like, look at his eyes. Sorry, I'm just kind of skimming these, and I have an interesting... It's interesting that, Nintendo published this negative, feedback here. It says, KI2, thumbs down. I saw Killer Instinct 2 in Volume 81. From what I saw, I have only one thing to say. Crappy. Absolutely looks 16-bit. Not only that, also the characters look totally unoriginal. Only a couple new characters have been added, and they look like messed up rehashes. Plus, you said there was some sort of new 3D animation feature for the hair, yet the hair looks the same as the hair in Killer Instinct 1. But other people have better things to say, such as KI2, thumbs up. When I first saw KI2 in your magazine, I thought it would stink. Then I played it. I couldn't believe it. The animation was smooth. Jago's hair was moving. The colors are perfect. I was amazed. It wasn't the piece of crap I expected. What, people were so, like... They were not impressed by this Killer Instinct 2 preview, I guess. KI2, yahoo! This guy likes Killer Instinct so much, that's his nickname now. He's Aaron K.I. Hofel from Defiance, Ohio. Do you think he still goes by that, you know, all these years later? He's like, call me K.I. Yeah, I'm admiring the envelope art too. It is nice that they would occasionally publish some negative feedback, though. Just, you know, to get the you know, true range of opinions out there. I'm complaining about Volume 82's Counselor's Corner. I've never seen as many lame questions in my life. The DKC2 and Yoshi's Island questions were horribly lame. Why did you print these? Man, I don't know. People have questions. Alright. Nintendo Power, the fun machine. Dang, Krow. What you gotta do is you gotta put a slightly smaller envelope inside the outer envelope, and then just mail that. What's going on the right page? You mean, like, this Earthworm Jim art? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I'm looking at this stuff, but unfortunately we gotta oh man, look, it's this Kirby game. This is like the original Air Riders, right? That was originally supposed to be on the N64. The Mario World 2 thing in the background. Oh, I see, I see. Yeah, I don't know. Someone drew this and they just decided to, like, sneak it into the background, but it's like, it looks like baby Bowser and baby Mario being angry at each other. It's kind of cute, actually. I wish they hadn't, like, hidden it back there. Did they, like, credit who drew that one? I don't know. I don't see anything. Yeah. Hey look, it's Dan Owson! The hero who wrote the Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2 instruction manuals. And possibly the Donkey Kong Land one, although we don't know that one for sure. Stellar Star. Okay. I guess they're just using stellar because it has to do with stars. Look, man, I like Super Mario 64, but I wouldn't say its story is stellar, but I see what they're doing there. I just know that, okay, I would imagine it's pronounced Osen. Like, if I looked at it on my own, that's what I would say. I just know that that's how Hyle pronounces it, so I'm just going with that, but I think he was in that exposed video. Donkey Kong Country Exposed. That makes it sound like they were exposing things about him. No, I think he was... And I think they might have pronounced it Osen in that video. We could go back and check sometime. Blast Core. You know, this is a rare game I've tried to play and finish, and I was very bad at it. Fun fact is that Blast Core actually shares some music with Donkey Kong Land, so there's a little bit of a crossover. Alright, well, we're now gonna go with Osen from this point forward when he ever pops up again. Doom to the 64th power. Body Harvest. This game is kind of sick, actually. I did not get very far in it, but it's neat. Of course, GoldenEye. Pilot Wing 64, you know, great music. Also, you know what, a lot of these early N64 games, it's like, I've played that. I was very bad at it. It was hard. I am bad at Pilot Wings. I am bad at Blast Core. Oh man, there's some real Victor Core stuff in this issue. We got SM64 feature, we got Pilot Wings, we got Wave Race. That's true. It's gotta be Kong only. All right, we got the rare feature, but I don't think it's anything super relevant to our interests right now just yet. You know, Donkey Kong 64 is not coming for a few years. This is a cool issue, though. I'd like to own this one just because of, you know, the historical interest of, like, early N64 stuff, including some stuff that didn't come out. This one doesn't have the whole, like, Earthbound 64 thing in it, though, I don't think. Yo, they got a whole-ass credit card number on here. Someone should try putting this in when you, like, order pizza or something. Okay, this is supposed to have some Donkey Kong Land 2 stuff in it somewhere. I think it might just be a very small preview. Heck is this? Mohawk and headphone jack? What the hell? I've never... This is one of those games that was lost to time. Never heard of this one in my life. I love this part of this song. There we go. I think it's in... Here we go. There it is. Just a tiny little section. But, you know, we have Donkey Kong Country 3 as well. We'll come back to this issue later when we're talking about that stuff. But here we go. Here's our one little half page that we scrolled through this entire issue to find. But it's got Crook. It's a good choice. We love Crook. One of the Blowjob brothers. There he is. So yeah, I've been curious what they're going to say about the framing and the lore of Donkey Kong Land 2. Are they going to try to spin it as a new adventure, or just like a version of DKC2 on the Game Boy? So here's our first little hint of that, I guess. It's exactly half as important as Kirby Superstar. Diddy and Dixie retrace their steps, spins, and twirls from last year's Super NES hit DKC2 and the Super Game Boy adaptation from Nintendo and Rare. The quality of the graphics speak for themselves in the screenshots shown here. What you can't see is the incredible animation that gives the characters the 3D feel even on Game Boy. The story is the same as DKC2. Diddy and... Okay, first of all, sorry, I got a little excited and ahead of myself there because I didn't see Donkey, and I thought they were just gonna call him Kong again, but I think they're past that by this point. Yeah, I don't think Donkey Kong Land 2 actually ended up with a subtitle, but here they were using the exact same subtitle as DKC2, which even strengthens the idea that it's just a retelling instead of its unique thing. But in the end, it didn't end up with a subtitle of any kind. It's just Donkey Kong Land 2. That's all there is. Diddy and Dixie are out to rescue Donkey Kong. Along the way, they meet friendly animals, including a pogo snake, a speedy spider, and a fiery seal. Okay, Clapper is not fiery. He's the opposite of fiery. He's icy. He cools things down, but I guess he can, like, survive in fire. He's got the thick fat ability, so the fire, lava, water doesn't harm him as much. So I guess he's kind of fiery in that sense. Early indications are that DKL2 is a faithful translation of DKC2, so don't expect new stages. Hey, it had a Dungeon Danger. Nintendo will release DKL2 this fall. Yeah, so, you know, they were really hyping up Donkey Kong Land as being, you know, this is unique. This isn't the same thing as Donkey Kong Country. But here they were honest. They were like, yeah, it's basically just DKC2, but it's on the Game Boy. And yeah, it's the fact that it says retrace their steps, spins, and twirls makes it sound like they are just doing the whole thing all over again. But, you know, that's just figurative. It says the story is the same as DKC2, so more evidence for that this is not a separate event in the timeline. Well, Andre, that's according to Nintendo Power, not me. I mean, I'm just recounting what I'm seeing right in front of me. Yeah, see, I have the box right here. It does not have a subtitle. Alright, well, I guess that's it. We're going to move on to the next issue. Alright, so we are skipping an issue, and we're going to go to issue 87. It's Kamek. It really is. The N64 logo is one of those little genius strokes of design. So, Kamek just straight up killed Yoshi. And here we have Donkey Kong Land 2, a true proper preview this time. And a 10-page preview of Super 64 Mario. You know what? This is, I cannot read all of these ridiculous ads anymore. I'm running out of sanity for this. It's Poochie. Shy Guy spotted in the background. Sorry, I'm skimming these. Hey, wise guys. I just received Volume 85 and was quite disappointed to see 31 whole pages on N64 games. I'd like to know about the N64, but 31 pages? I'd rather have full coverage of a Super NES game. I was also thinking that maybe if you made your responses and players' polls more sarcastic, it would make reading this section more interesting. Geo Monleon, via the internet. Geo, we were disappointed about the 31 pages as well. We'd have preferred to use all 108 pages for N64. Read on. Yeah, both the N64 and the PlayStation had really good logos. I really like this art of, like, Luca helping Marl put her hair up, I guess. It's cute. Some people say Marley. It's totally Marl. Like, it's spelled M-A-R-L-E. Like, why would you pronounce the E at the end of that? I don't know. It's like, if it was a Y, if they wanted it to be pronounced, they would have made it a Y. Maybe it's Marle. Dude, look at the frickin' buff Mario down here doing... This is incredible. Also, it's Gaz. Hello? It's this guy. Look at this Yoshi. This is a very good Yoshi right here. I love this Yoshi art. This is like the peak ideal Yoshi for me. It's Victor. You know, going straight from Yoshi and pals, who everybody knows and loves and remembers throughout the years, to Oscar. This guy. Another game that I just have never heard of in my life. Everybody remembers Oscar. I like how they I don't know, there's something about like a video game, when they make a video game and they don't even try to give it like a unique title, it's just like the name of some kid. Like they just were that confident that Oscar was gonna become like a household name on its own. Just, we don't even need to give this like Oscar's Grand Adventure or something. No, it's just like Oscar. You will know his name. That said, I really like this little sprite of the Game Boy they have over there. It's cute. Alright, it's about to be break time. But let's see if we can get to the... Now here's the full Kirby Superstar feature. Let's see how long this is compared to the Donkey Kong Land 2 feature. It is longer, that's for sure. This is only 2 pages, actually. Alright, we will look at this in a minute. I will be back. Gotta take a little break. Alright. Hold on, wait. They didn't name the game Oscar, it's Oscar. They put a period in the title and logo. Hold on. Alright. Yeah, they really did. But the real question is, every time they mention Oscar in this article, do they put the period after it? Sounds like they're just, they're avoiding calling the game by its name because they didn't figure out how a way to get around the period thing, so they're just talking about Oscar himself but not the game. You know, a lot of games put an exclamation mark in their title, and then a lot of people will tell you, like, oh, don't forget the exclamation mark when you're typing the name of the game. That's, like, it's part of it. It's important. And, like, Double Dash has 2, of course. That's important because it's Double Dash. It has 2. But, you know, they're trying to make their game seem more exciting by putting an exclamation mark. But here, maybe they were just being honest. They were like, this game's not that exciting. I'm just gonna put a period. Maybe they should put a question mark. Like, Oscar? Alright, so Kirby Superstar, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? No, it's just 8. Yeah, it's just 8. So now Kirby Superstar has grown to being 4 times as important as Donkey Kong Land 2, which only gets a 2-page spread. So, you know, it's growing in proportional importance. Hi, Omi. I do a lot of these on Saturdays when I have the chance, so... Diddy and Dixie are back for more monkey shines in Donkey Kong Land 2 for the Game Boy. And believe us, this portable powerhouse is a chimp off the old block. Swinging into action once again. Donkey Kong Land 2 is based on Donkey Kong Country 2 for the... Hold on, just... Donkey Kong Land 2 is based. I'm just gonna, like, clip that part out. That's gonna be the, that's... Putting that on the YouTube thumbnail. Donkey Kong Land 2 is based on Donkey Kong Country 2 for Super NES, and all the essential elements that made DKC2 so great have been ported over to the 8-bit version. DKL2 is so like its counterpart in play control, you could hop, skip, and stomp from one to the other without missing a beat. I mean, I will admit, it feels very much like DKC2. Like, they did an impressive job making it feel similar, but the camera swinging all over the place is the part that gets to me. Thank you, Omi. The level of graphic detail is astounding, and the animation is wonderfully smooth. The music also received the 5-star treatment, and the programmers turned out a terrific adaptation of DKC2's multi-layered soundtrack. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh at that, because the adaptations are really good. Like, you know, Grant Kirkhope, this is his first work for Rare, he did a great job, you know? The Donkey Kong Land 2 versions of the songs are great. It's just the allocation of the songs maybe not as great, you know? Yeah, and they're still giving it a subtitle here. That must have been... I don't know why they decided to cut that at the last minute, but maybe it's just because there wasn't a lot of, like, box space, or, you know, space on the cartridge itself, and it just, like, took up too much space to just slap a subtitle on there, and they're like, we don't need this. While it has many similarities to DKC2, DKL2 has many charms all its own. Name 5, Nintendo Power. Name some of these charms that it has that aren't just inherited from what makes DKC2 so good. The stage maps in DKL2 are loosely based on those in DKC2, but they have different layouts, puzzles, and obstacles. You know, people have gotten on my case before about my tendency to always speak in abbreviations and always just say DKC2 and DKL2 and stuff when I'm talking out loud, but Nintendo Power does it. And I know it's because they have to save space, you know, and get as many words in there as possible, but I'm feeling justified right now. The best of the worst, you know, is that how I would describe DK Land 2? I would rather describe it the worst of the best, maybe. Because they took the best game and they made it not as good. If the next best thing to a good friend is a reliable enemy, then Diddy and Dixie have got it made. The best of the worst are back for a return bout with the Kong clan, and they've got some new tactics to add to their old bag of tricks. On the flip side, our simian superheroes have retained their signature moves, including Diddy's long-range cartwheel jump and Dixie's devastating helicopter spin. Looking for trouble, little monkey? Captain K. Rool is once again at the helm, directing his Kremling hordes in an all-out battle against the Kong clan. Dang, that's pretty cool. That's true, I guess, you know, new boss challenges, that was pretty interesting. I gotta say, the last Captain K. Rool battle was legitimately challenging. Crocodile Cacophony is a better song than Boss Bossa Nova. It's fine, you know. I guess that makes it a unilateral improvement, but I mean, Boss Bossa Nova is a fine song. It's a good song. You didn't need to cut it entirely. Okay. So we'll start here at the bottom of Crocodile Isle and work our way upwards. They helpfully gave us numbers if you didn't know to do that on your own. No, hang on, just 1 second here. Okay. As the land churns! Though incomplete at press time, Donkey Kong Land 2 is already an impressive piece of work. With over 30 stages of non-stop monkey business, including 7 Lost World stages, even the most discerning connoisseur. I guess they're counting Crocodile Core in that. Were there 7? Huh. Hold on. Were there 7? Okay. You got Jungle Jinx, and then we had, I think they went... Did they go straight to Black Ice Battle, and then... Okay, hold on. And then Clobber Carnage was actually there, and then Fiery Furnace and Animal Antics and what am I forgetting? No, my nose was running a little bit because I have allergies. I just needed to wipe my nose with the old Kleenex. Am I forgetting a level? What level am I forgetting? Jungle Jinx, Black Ice Battle, Clobber Carnage, Fiery Furnace, Animal Antics, and Crocodile Core. Which poor Lost World level am I forgetting right now? Because I'm only counting 6, and that's if you count the boss level as being 1. Well, think about it and get back to me. Hey, Buzzard. Alright, so, Gangplank Galleon. Avast! Kremling cutthroats are everywhere, ready to swab the deck with any monkey foolish enough to swing aboard. Krem Cauldron. This extended level combines elements from the Crocodile Cauldron and Krem Key levels found in DKC2. I missed a vocal one. Gotta skip it. Alright. Crazy Kremland. Killer coasters and giant zingers are the main attractions at Crazy Kremland, the deadliest park on Earth. I like that the zingers are an attraction, you know? Like, come look at our giant wasp. That's gonna get... You know, Roller Coaster Tycoon, you're having trouble getting, you know, meeting your, like, guest threshold that you have to make. Just advertise the giant wasps at your theme park. They'll be coming in droves. There's work aplenty for Squitter the Spider in Gloomy Gulch. Mind the locals, pard, or you'll be resting in pieces. The next stop on our tour is Rool's Keep, decorated in an early medieval dungeon with this lovely Kremling accents. And this is Captain Rool speaking. Oh, is it? All right. I'll sit up and listen then. This is Captain Rool speaking, and from all of us at Flying Croc Air, we hope you have an unpleasant flight. Yep, well that's it. That's our preview of Donkey Kong Land 2. They didn't need to say a lot about it, because, you know, it really is very similar to Donkey Kong Country 2, so they've already covered that plenty. There's only so much new text they can write about, you know, so much new flavor text they can write about the same characters and enemies and locations and whatnot. Yeah, I that's why when I was playing it last night, I don't know, because I know you missed that, and you might have not gone back to watch it yet, but, I thought that Clobber Carnage just wasn't gonna be in the game, because I thought they just skipped it and went straight to Fiery Furnace. Especially because Jungle Jinx had a lot of clobbers in it, and it didn't have the tires, so I thought they just kind of, like, combined the level concepts. But no, it was there. It was just in different order. But yeah, I don't know what the secret... Is there a secret 7th Lost World stage that we just didn't discover? You have to beat the game in, like, a certain time limit, and then it just shows up. And that's how you actually get 102% instead of just 100%. You gotta find the secret 7th Lost World stage. Maybe they're counting, like, Klubba himself, like, the fact that Klubba is on the map and you can visit him. Counting that as, like, a stage. They just, like, looked at the amount of icons that were on the screen and they were like, alright. Well, Mole Mania. Now this is a render right there. Check out this mole. Look at his texture. He looks like he's like a wood grain table. Well, he's like made of wood. Alright, well, we're just gonna skim through the rest of this real quick and make sure that there is nothing else Donkey Kong related. Victor's favorite game, Super Mario 64. Oh man, this one has a Pilot Wings poster. That's cool. This is interesting. They have a feature on Fire Emblem. This game I don't think was even localized. They're just like telling you about it. Like, damn, don't you wish you could play this cool game? Too bad. We're not gonna localize it, but, you know, here it is. It's kind of neat, I guess, that they at least want to keep their players informed about, like, Japanese Nintendo stuff that didn't make it over. Dang, this Nintendo 64 box is so cool. The vaporwave looking thing, it's awesome. The secret Klubba nude scene. Yeah, Klubba takes his pants off. We get to see Klubba's club for real. This is cool. Where's the DK coin and Bramble Scramble? Man, I gotta say, like, after playing Donkey Kong Land 2 for so long, just, like, looking at screenshots of the actual Donkey Kong Country 2 is just, like, a glass of fresh water. It's just, like, refreshments for my eyeballs. Like, looking at this in color and all the detail and, like, the actual beautiful Bramble aesthetic that I love instead of just a void. It's like, ah, yes. Yes, I'm home! Clubbed by the clubber, well, you know. Don't mind if I do. The incredible shrinking Game Boy. Wow. Hey, you know what? I don't think they gave a strategy to beating Captain K. Rool in the, like, actual review strategy guide thing they did for this game, so maybe they did. But now they're going to tell you. You know, I'm glad we looked through the rest of this issue, because we got some good Captain content here that I almost skipped past, you know? He's just sneaking in here at the end. To be fair, Bowser is here, but also this is like specifically SMRPG Bowser, who is a friend, you know? He's a pal. He's not, you don't have to beat him. He's not a boss. I haven't beaten Yoshi's Island in so long, I forgot that they were keeping the stork, like, tied upside down by its legs. That's kind of fucked up. I mean, to be fair, it could fly, so it could probably just, like, right itself and, like, you know, land on the top of that and you know, just like flutter up to the top and not have to be hanging upside down. I think the stork was really just trying to like maximize, like, oh please rescue me, look how pathetic I am. But yeah, that's nice. It's nice that our boy made it onto the page with right alongside Bowser and right alongside Raw from Stargate. There's just a whole bunch. Okay, there's a whole bunch of bosses here, but K. Rool was the first because he's the best. Because he's the best final boss of all time, so, you know, they had to put him first. Genuinely, that makes me happy, you know? They didn't just shove him in there between Raw from Stargate and, you know, this guy from Adventure Island 2. The Evil Eagle. They didn't put the period at the end of Oscar here. Oh my gosh, that's a journalistic malpractice. Oh, I get it, because it's supposed to be like parodies of like movies and stuff, so it's Oscar because of like the Oscars. Ah, it was like you know what? This was Gex's predecessor, I guess. You know, Oscar was the original Gex, so we really owe him a lot. We wouldn't have World War II world without Oscar, Mr. Do. Dang, there's DKC3. I'm real excited. I'm real excited to get to it. Virtual Boy ad. It's kind of interesting, you know, they were still selling the Virtual Boy at this point, and, you know, every now and then a coverage of a Virtual Boy game pops up, but They sure weren't talking about it a lot. There's a, you know, I meet people who, if ever the discussion of, like, Nintendo comes up, I feel like this doesn't happen to me very often, but, like, it has happened to me in the past where I've been talking, like, in real life about, and, you know, I had people over to my house fairly recently, just, like, a couple months ago, and we had the Virtual Boy thing that we bought, and a bunch of people just don't even know what it is. Like, there's a lot of people out there who, like, even were moderately familiar with Nintendo back in the day. Like, they were at least somewhat nerdy. They weren't, like, completely tuning it out. Maybe they had a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo 64 or something, but there's a lot of people out there who just, like, have no idea that the Virtual Boy was even a thing that existed whatsoever. I wish there was an Oscar novelization. Alright, next issue. Okay, well, I meant to close the one I had open, but instead it closed, like, both of them. Okay. Yeah, so this is issue 88. Is this the same one? No, this is not the same one we were looking at. It just seems like it has a lot of the same material in it, but it is not the same one we're looking at. This is, yeah, we have in-depth Donkey Kong Land 2. Finally, we're getting in-depth with it. There it is. So this is September of 1996. So this was when Donkey Kong Land 2 was coming out this month, and the N64 was out already. Mario launches the fun machine. Mario, launch the fun machine. Hey, we got some Diddy and Dixie art over here this time. There's always so much Chrono Trigger art. Like, Chrono Trigger inspired a ton of fan art. And, you know, I get it. You know, back when I played that game back in high school, I also did a bunch of amateurish art of it. It's just a game that makes you want to draw the characters, you know? My high school art days where I was just extremely bad at drawing humans. Not that I'm, like, super good at it now. Good old Bowyer. Look at him. It's a nice Zelda art here. I like the starry background. Ha ha ha. I like your magazine and all, but you need more fun things. Well, I mean funnier things. Like making fun of games that are just insane to even be put on the market. You have a lot of information and everything. It's just that there isn't really anything that catches me and won't let me go. Sorry to insult your magazine. I like it and all, but I just had to tell you that. This guy does not think Nintendo Power is funny enough. It needs to be meaner to games. There's only one problem regarding your online resources. Everything good is on America Online. All the chats with Mr. Miyamoto and Ken Griffey Jr., the online games like Blood of the Chozo. Whoa, what is Blood of the Chozo? That sounds... What? Andre, do you know anything about Blood of the Chozo? And all the other stuff that I never got to take part in are only on America Online. Damn, this kid needs to get AOL. You can get a free preview of AOL and you just order it by mail, you know? And get it in your cereal box, something. Well, apparently it was an AOL exclusive Metroid game of some kind, I guess? Anyway, to get to the point, is there any way Where's the rest of that letter? No. Okay. They just cut him off. They were like, stop complaining about AOL. Just get a free trial of AOL. Stop complaining. Oh, this is missing a few. Oh, this one's missing a few pages, that's why. Retro Mags was not able to obtain a full, undamaged copy of this one. That's sad. Well, hopefully the Donkey Kong Land 2 part is there. Whoever owned this magazine was so enraged by some of these letters that they just, like, ripped it out. Like, ugh. Mario's gonna punch you in the face. Turok. Yet more Kirby Superstar. See, this is why when I was scrolling up through this one, I thought, is this the same one that I already had open? But no, they have more Kirby Superstar. Look at this image of him with the Waddle Doo down there. Like, holding hands. Well, you know, sometimes on the Kremling Kronology, you also learn about Metroid. This is now the Ridley record. I don't know. Oh boy. We'll be coming back to this issue, you know, in like a month or so. There he is. It's Kiddy Kong. And there those two guys are. Alright, that's enough of them. I am looking for Donkey Kong Land. There it is. Alright, we made it. Too cool for Rool, excuse me. More like not cool enough for him. All of the gameplay goodness that made DKC2 such a phenomenal hit for the Super NES is here in Donkey Kong Land 2 for the Game Boy. No effort, no effort was put into this game. No effort was spared to make DKL2 as challenging and fun as its 16-bit predecessor. And while it borrows its plot and characters from DKC2, it sports all new level maps and puzzles. This month, we're going to expose the locations of the secret bonus areas. You won't find them where you did in DKC2. You also just won't find them. I mean, I did, but it took me a really long time. I'm gonna turn the music down just a little bit more. Blood of the Choza was a non-canon interactive online story run by Nintendo Power Source. Interesting. It's a collaborative fan fiction? That's awesome. I don't know, that kind of reminds me of like the Neopets like story contests. Alright. Back to Donkey Kong Land 2, though. What the heck? Oh, okay. Like, I'm like, what is this little thing here that is by the little subtitles? And it's the same, like, wood texture they're using for the titles. Like, you can see it on the right page here. Except instead of, like, stretching it out and having the title over it, they just put a little wood nub there. In Donkey Kong Land 2, Diddy and Dixie roll and spin with the same rhythm and feel that they did in DKC2. You can't use their team throw, but you can switch between them by pressing select. Bradley on guard, Squitter, and the rest of your animal buds are back, and they've also retained their signature moves and abilities. Pressing the Y button will make them charge ahead or fire. In Squitter's case, the select button will transform his attack webs into platform webs. Yep, that's true. Look at Radley. Closed mouth Radley. So the Gangplank Galleon. You know, once again, it would have been useful to look at this while I was actually playing the game, but I insisted on doing everything all on my own without looking anything up, so now it's just gonna tell me where all of the bonuses are, but I don't really need to look at all of this in super detail, because I experienced it, I lived it. I struggled and did this all on my own. Okay, this is interesting though. First of all, they're spelling Crimcoin with the C in the coin, and that's wrong, but when you enter the bonus area, guide Diddy or Dixie to the Crimcoin, flattening clappers as you go. Now, are clappers Neeks in this? First of all, Clapper the Seal, I don't think you're flattening him, and I don't think he's in this bonus, so I guess they're talking about Neeks. Why can no one ever get what a Neek is correct? Like, that's the second time that Nintendo Power has made an error about, like, what a Neek is. Why are they calling them clappers? Doesn't even make any sense. But I guess that's what clappers are supposed to be, based on the image, you know, I'm using context clues here. Also, they're calling regular Krow Creepy Krow. He hasn't died yet. Unless this... Okay, is this evidence that the entire game takes place after Donkey Kong Country 2? Because Krow is already dead? You know what? I'm not gonna incorporate this into my lore thoughts when they can't even get the name of a Neek correct, you know? I'm not gonna pay any mind to that. Now, the game did this, not, you know, this wasn't an error on the magazine's part, but I feel like if they were going to call it Crim Cauldron, they should just use the K on the cauldron. I know they're inheriting it from Crocodile Cauldron, which just had the C's, but, you know, it's their chance to do something different, but okay. Poor Cruncha, his arm has been ripped right off. Like, dang. Someone even stronger than him beat him in an arm wrestling contest. Just yanked his arm right out of his socket. Krow is on, like, so many different levels of the afterlife now. You know, he died, his ghost was defeated, maybe his ghost was defeated yet again. Like, is he like, ascending further and further? Or is he, like, descending further into, like, the rings of hell? You know, I will say I appreciate their attention to detail in getting the... They did accurately reproduce that in this game, cleaver is spelled cleaver. They, you know, they had to be paying attention, not just like using the data from DKC2. They're like, oh yes, excuse me, he changed his name now, it has an A in it. Look. I don't believe that this Krow is already dead. Look at how healthy he looks. He's you know, red. He's full of blood. He's full of life and vivaciousness. This guitar in the song goes crazy. Trying to see if there's really anything worth talking about on any of these pages. See, this is Creepy Krow. And back here, it's just, you know, they just called him Creepy Krow both places. As if Creepy was just, you know, like a nickname he had even before he died. I get maybe it was a nickname he had before he died, and then like when he became a ghost, he was like, well, I guess, you know, that's like foreshadowing. It's been foreshadowing the whole time. Oh, so Neeks are called clappers now? Creepy Krow has a bone to pick with you, or rather, he'd like to pick your bones. Oh, wow. Alright, and the Lost World, which is here just getting called Clubba's Kiosk because... I mean, I guess... it didn't have, like, another name in the game, so... Now, what's interesting to me is they put the Lost World before K. Rool's Keep, even though technically you can't do it at all. Like, it is located on the map before the Keep, but you can't actually do it until you have every single... Like, you can't even get in there until you have every single bonus in the game, so... It's interesting, that they... Because they even put, like, the final battle here before they put the flying croc battle, which is... The not-so-good Captain K. Rool will follow much the same attack pattern here as he does in the Flying Croc stage. Listen for... Yeah, we haven't done that yet. Listen for his shots and time your jumps accordingly. Yeah, there's really not a lot they can say to make this battle, like, any easier. It's just, like, get good, you know? It's a toughie, but, again, it's not very long, so all you have to do is get lucky and survive. So, you're saying that Krow's alive or dead status is really the key to this whole thing, on if it's a separate timeline event or not. But see, what I'm positing is just saying that just calling him Creepy Krow, like I said, doesn't necessarily mean he's dead, you know? Lots of people are creepy. And I'm saying that's just a nickname he had even before he died, you know? It doesn't say this is a ghost of a bird. Creepy Krow is the key to all this. We can get Creepy Krow working. Alright. So... I like this, the front-facing clamp-on death sprite there. That you can see over on the right. Pinocchio. Alright, well that's the end of that. They just wanted to show you where all the bonuses were, because they are... You know what? I would pay the $18 to subscribe to Nintendo Power just for this, if this was the only way I could figure out where the bonuses were, because... Gosh. But that's pretty much all this is really just telling you where the bonuses are, so, you know. What are the best trade routes in Europe? Nintendo Power is here to break it down for you. Alright, well... I guess that's that. But they did have a little review of it back here. Awesome ape action returns to the small screen. Last year's incredible Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest has been converted into the best ACM title for Game Boy to date. DKL2, like its predecessor, covers most of the Kremlings Island. you know, we don't, there's some parts of it we don't see, like what's around the back, I don't know. Diddy and Dixie Kong, along with friends such as Squawk. Why do they keep doing this to him? Why do they keep doing this to my poor Squawks? They call him Squawk all the goddamn time. As Squawk and Ramby must scamper to the pinnacle and beyond to face What? They spelled it with the C. You see, you expect me to trust what Nintendo Power says and use it as an authority when they're out here spelling Captain K. Rool with the goddamn C? Shaking my head. Although the levels may look familiar, the animation for the Game Boy has been greatly improved by the developers at Rare over the first Donkey Kong Land game. DKL2 also makes great use of the Super Game Boy enhancements. Yeah, which, you know, we got to see that for a little bit before my cartridge choked out on me. Yeah, they're out here saying Squawk and Captain with the CK Rool. I'm not gonna trust their awkward use of Creepy Krow, maybe a little bit anachronistically. Power covers all the monkey shines in this month's review. Excellent action, play control, and graphics. Stages are basically the same as those in DKC2 for the Super NES. Not similar enough, if you ask me. Say no to giant frogs. Man, what I wouldn't give to get a ancient box of Bowser Apple Jacks. Or a Boo Rice Krispie Treat cereal. Alright, we got one more. I honestly don't even remember why I downloaded this one. I don't know what it has in it that has to do with Donkey Kong Land 2, but... Yo, Little Red Bird, thanks for the 7s. Apple jerks. Well, this apparently has something about Donkey Kong Land 2 in it. Yo, don't mess with girl game players, that's right. This Chrono Trigger art is very cool. I really like that one. I like the Yoshi, like, Avengers team down there. They're not the Avengers. It's you know, the Justice League, I guess. The Yoshi League. Oh, it's this one I saw in real life. It's the sparkly Metroid art. I think I saw this Chrono Trigger one too. So I went to an exhibit last year that was like the art of Nintendo Power, and they had some of these envelopes. Like, I saw some of these envelopes in person that people had sent into Nintendo Power, and they also had a bunch of like sketches and original artwork that was used for, like, you know, the covers of the issues and stuff, and even some stuff like clay models and things like that that they had used. I saw this Metroid art in person, and it actually is even cooler than it looks here. This one on the bottom, because it's a little hard to make out on the scan, but like they had actually used like glitter, so the like effects coming off of the beam gun there was actually like sparkly. It was really cool looking. And I think I saw this Chrono and Frog one too. I really like this art in the background too. That's like classic. Got some. We actually, you know, they did have a comic in the issue. They don't have a lot of comics in these, you know. They used to, like, earlier on, but like I feel like in the mid 90s, once they kind of pivoted to like the whole play it loud thing or whatever, they stopped having as many comics. Got a whole Star Wars comic in here. Chewbacca's punching somebody. So the description of this one on the RetroMag site just mentioned that it talked about Donkey Kong Land 2 at some point, so I have like no idea what it even is. Yeah, there it is. You can see the glitter a lot better in the photo. Chewy with the flat top. I don't know if these are. I guess maybe, yeah. Okay, this is not. This guy is Snuva. Sorry, he's just a different Wookiee. But this is Chewbacca with the flat top, I guess. Whoa. Alright, well, I look forward to looking at this at some point. The pitfalls of riding on the Kremling cutting edge. That's what I do. That's my job here. Prince Caesar. Does he evolve from Prince Scyther? I don't know enough about Star Wars Extended Universe stuff. Yeah, the rare barrel throwing Kiddy Kong. Okay, I guess this is probably just it. It's just tips on how to beat King Zing, which, to be fair, is pretty hard. It was pronounced Shizor. Excuse me. King Zing is a buzzing bee waiting for Squawks at the end of Crazy Kremlin in World 3. To defeat Zing, you need to hit him in the stinger 4 times. Ouch. Each time you hit the bee, he flies faster and faster. To make matters worse, King Zing drops stationary little zingers in his wake after you hit him twice. You can knock the zingers out of the way with an egg or two, but it's easier to wait a few seconds and let them fade away. Zing is temporarily invincible whenever he's hit, so do your best to stay out of his path until the mean king reverts back to his normal form. Yeah, here it's, since the game doesn't make it obvious that this is a different type of parrot, people are just confused why Squawks suddenly has lost the ability to fly in Parachute Panic, and it says Squawks can't gain altitude in Parachute Panic. So yeah, people who didn't play Donkey Kong Country 2 but only played this game are like, does Squawks just like feeling bad? Like, is he sick? Like, what's wrong? Why can't he fly properly in this level? And they're just like, I don't know, maybe it's like a gravity well or something. You'd have to come up with your own theories on what's wrong with Squawks instead of just realizing it was just a completely different parrot. Okay. You know what? I will write that one down. I will try to do that at some point in my life. Well, I guess that was it. That's all the Donkey Kong Land 2 coverage we have. Hey, Bazooka is going to shoot your You better grab your I don't know, maybe he's shooting them out at you. It's like, here. That's the best bazooka in the game, the one who just shoots out Nintendo consoles at you. Either that or he's trying to destroy them, I don't know. Look, I got a lot of books that I want to read. I'm a very slow reader. Look at these two they're really enjoying their water gear from Kawasaki, you know? If you want to be intimately held by someone else, then just better enter this contest so you can win this swimsuit, I guess. Dude, this ad rules. Believe in the path of least limits. Live the game. Do not compromise. Change the system. Experience true freedom. Don't be told how to view the world. Hell yeah, Nintendo. I will, you know, that's my life philosophy when I'm playing Pilot Wings for the N64. Okay, well, that's all we had. That's the end of Chapter 2 of the Kremling Kronology. But wait, is it? Because I'm thinking, so like I've been saying, I have a trip coming up in just a few days. I'm going to be gone basically till the end of May. And when I come back, I think before we jump into Chapter 3 and play Donkey Kong Country 3, I think what I want to do is have a little review of like stuff we've learned so far. And just make it sort of like a little podcast episode almost, where we're not looking at anything specifically, we're not playing anything specifically, we're just kind of chatting about stuff, and it'll last as long as it seems, you know. I was just thinking of making it a little personal thing for me to talk about, like how Donkey Kong, especially Donkey Kong Country 2, has like impacted me and what it means to me and how it's influenced my life and stuff. But, you know, also allowing other people, of course, to say what they want to say about the game and the games that we've played so far in the chronology, or their memories of, you know, whether they grew up in this time period like I did, or if they were born later and got into all this stuff later in life. And yeah, so I'm thinking of just having like a little discussion episode sort of thing, just to summarize the end of the first two chapters. And that would be a nice way to like warm up again after I've been gone for a couple weeks, before we jump right into playing a new game. Yeah, a Krimversation. I'm gonna steal that, BCF. I love it. The Krocversation. Ooh, I'm torn between those two. Oh man, I gotta think about it. But yeah, just like a little casual chat. I think that would be a lot of fun. And maybe it'll last an hour and we've run out of stuff to talk about. And maybe we'll go for like 3 hours. I don't think we'll go for like 8 hours like the Planet Core conversation did, but, you know, we'll see. So yeah, look forward to that at the, you know, end of May, beginning of June. But other than that, I think I might not stream again for a couple weeks. I might do something tomorrow if I get the chance, but I can't promise, because I gotta pack for the trip and take care of some other stuff, so this might be the last time you see me for a bit, but don't forget about me, okay? It's been fun. Little, you know, just a quick little 2-hour stream today. We covered everything that we needed to go through, so there's, you know, no reason to belabor it. I need to get the Donkey Kong Land streams up on YouTube, which I will try to do that before I leave, because otherwise I won't be able to do it until I get back, so I will try to at least, like, upload all of them and have them unlisted and maybe, like, release them a little bit slowly, but I need to make some thumbnails and stuff, so, there will be a Pokopia stream. There will be several, and, in fact, perhaps many, but not till I get back, so, I'll be taking my Switch 2 with me on the trip so that we can I can continue to build up plenty of like materials and stuff to build some cool stuff when I get back. But yeah, thank you for hanging. As always, it's been a good time. I've really missed just having a stream to look at Nintendo Powers, and I'm very excited to go back and actually look at the DKC3 stuff that we had to skip over today. The coverage of Donkey Kong Land 2 was not like super thrilling, but you know, I'm glad that they gave the game some attention and, you know, continued to give Captain K. Rool the love that he deserves. That is perfectly timed because we reached the end of this playlist as well. So I guess I'm just gonna call it a night. You know what I can do though? I can raid Victor. That's crazy. Me and Victor never stream at the same time because we try not to step on each other's toes like that. But he's doing a archipelago, so, you know, a group randomizer with some other people. He's playing Link to the Past, so go check that out. And I'll be back in a couple weeks. We will have a fun podcast episode, and then we will jump back into Chapter 3 of the Kremling Kronology, which I think I want to call the Reign of the Mechanical Maniac, or the Reign of the Mechanical Monarch, something like that. I haven't decided exactly what I want to call Chapter 3 yet. It was originally going to actually cover DKC3 and DK64 at the same time, with, I guess, Diddy Kong Racing in between, and also, of course, Donkey Kong Land 3, but then I realized with the amount of streams that I do for each game, including all of the supplementary materials and stuff, that would be a chapter that would be like 40 episodes long. So yeah, especially because DK64 is going to be a whole ridiculous thing unto itself. That's definitely a game that deserves its own chapter along with everything that's going to go with it. So anyway, yeah, well, I couldn't think of anything that got the same idea across with more Ks, so anyway. Goodbye. Oh, I can take a lot of DK64. You don't know me if you think there's a limit to my DK64 capacity. But anyway, see you soon. And by soon, I mean like 2 weeks from now. Bye.